Aston Villa 2, Manchester City 1, and that scoreline does not reflect the game because it was so comfortable for Aston Villa. That's the first time since 1993 Aston Villa have had back-to-back home wins against Manchester City, and it looks dull, it looks bleak for Pep Guardiola at Manchester City at the minute. It was an all-round superb performance from Aston Villa, and I don't want to talk about how bad Man City were. I want to talk about how good Aston Villa were. This is why I like watching Aston Villa, because they're such a threatening team in transitions. The profiles they've got in their squad are so enjoyable to watch, and that was on full show today. Aston Villa looked extremely comfortable in possession, out of possession, and just controlled that game for 90 minutes. There is a couple of individual performances that I want to get on very shortly, but let's talk about Aston Villa for a second, because I thought Unai Emery got his tactics absolutely spot on. I thought the delivery and the execution from the players was spot on. And I just think Aston Villa are a real problem for the opposition, especially when they're at full strength. And I think a win like this puts them back in contention for a top 4 finish, because on their day they're capable of taking points off anybody. Aston Villa were in pure cruise control. They made it look so comfortable. Not once can I remember Man City really troubling them or making them look flustered. It was really impressive from Aston Villa. A couple of players I want to talk about, and the first one is Morgan Rogers. A goal and an assist today, and Man City just cannot live with him. Profile-wise, he's got everything you don't want to come up against. He's tall, strong, powerful. He's got good technique, ball striking ability. He can be creative in the final third. He's got intelligence in the box. And what I like about Morgan Rogers is when he receives the ball at feet, his ball carrying is superb. He's robust in duels, but he's got that straight line speed where he just attacks space. And it's extremely difficult to cope with. He's just a sensational footballer. And I say this quite often. One of my favourite things about Aston Villa is their ability to commit bodies forward in transition moments. And when Morgan Rogers is attacking the half channels, the inside channels, it's so dangerous. You can't contain him. And we're seeing that in full flow today when he laid it on the play for John Duran. He got in behind the opposition, then just played it across goal. Simple finish for John Duran. And then he fully deserved his goal. I know Yuri Tielemans got man the match, and he was brilliant as well. But for me, man the match had to be Morgan Rogers. He took the game at Manchester City, and he made them look weak mentally and physically. I just thought the dynamics of Aston Villa were brilliant today. I thought Morgan Rogers, Yuri Tielemans linked up the play very well. You got John McGinn coming in off the left. And then you've got Amadou Onana and Kamara just screening that back line, but getting forward, being aggressive when they have to be. It's just a really solid profile of squad that Unai Emery's putting together. And I tweeted out a while back that I was excited to see the partnership of Kamara and Onana, and this is exactly why. When you think of who Man City had in midfield, they had Kovacic, Gundogan. They don't complement each other at all. They haven't got the right profiles to build a partnership. But I think Kamara and Onana certainly do. They can be, if a team wants to be physical and wants to make the game into a battle, they can certainly do that. If a team wants to make it into a game of football, they've got the quality to control games. It's just a brilliant squad Aston Villa are putting together. And now that they're starting to get these injuries back, really going to be a problem come the end of the season. And I think Unai Emery and the Aston Villa scouting department deserve a lot of credit for bringing Morgan Rogers in, for signing Yuri Tielemans on a free, for signing Kamara on a free. It just goes to show you don't need to spend a lot of money to build a successful team. Now, I want to touch upon Yuri Tielemans for a second, because although Aston Villa went through that spell where they couldn't buy a win, he was super consistent. And I think he needs his flowers for that, because he's been sensational this season. He's been allowing Aston Villa to take over in games when they have to. He's been linking up play, linking up the defence to attack. He's just been a brilliant all-round midfielder for Aston Villa this season. And then we'll move on to John Duran. I'm running out of compliments for this guy. He's becoming the real deal. He's scored in his last 4 games for Aston Villa. He's scored 7 goals in 3 Premier League starts. I'm literally running out of compliments for him. But what I enjoyed about him today was his overall performance. He was linking up play well. He was making runs off the ball. He was being aggressive and pressuring the opponents. It was just a brilliant all-round centre-forward play from John Duran. And you've got to think, it was a brave decision for Unai Emery to start him today, because if it went wrong, that's what would have been looked at. If Aston Villa could not score today, or were just going through a moment where they just couldn't find the back of the net, this is where fans would ask questions. But it just goes to show the trust he's got in John Duran. But I just think the more he plays, the more complete he's looking. We all know he's got that physicality to battle with opponents. We all know he's got that technical quality to rifle one in from 30 yards, or just to deliver a moment of brilliance. But he's starting to add more to his game. His off-ball movements becoming better. His decision-making's becoming better. He's linking up play a lot better. And you can see that he's getting more confidence every time he steps on that football pitch. It's a good thing for Aston Villa, but a dangerous thing for the opposition. I just don't think there was a weak link in Aston Villa today. And I just thought overall it was a complete performance and looked really comfortable. Not many teams can say that against Manchester City, despite the form they're in. And then getting on to Man City, they look so weak physically and mentally, man. I said I was worried about their partnership in midfield today, and Villa just absolutely bullied them for the full 90 minutes. I just thought it was a brilliant performance from Aston Villa. It was like boys against men at some point. And yes, Man City could have had a lot of possession, made a lot of passes, but it was a lot of passive possession. And this is why I say I don't look at possession for statistics during a football game, because there's a certain thing called passive possession where you're not really troubling anyone. And you just got the ball for the sake of having the ball. And Aston Villa were just like, yeah, you can have it. You're not causing any danger. I will let you have possession. And then Aston Villa, when they won possession, they were decisive. And that was the difference between the two sides. Aston Villa looked hungry. They looked physical. They looked mentally strong. Whereas Man City looked extremely vulnerable. And it's a big transition moment for Pep Guardiola. Now we're really going to see what minerals Man City have, because it looks like they're just going through the motions, and the quality and the experience they have in their squad, no matter if Rodri's out injured, no matter if Ruben Diaz is out injured, there's more problems in that squad than just those two being out injured. But next summer is a big, big transfer window for Manchester City. If they don't get that wrong, they can fall behind the chasing pack. And look, can I say this? Are Man City going to throw away a top 4 finish? I want to know your thoughts below, because I'm starting to second question whether they can finish in the top 4. I think Villa look more likely to finish in the top 4 right now than Manchester City. But I want to know your thoughts. Do you think Man City can still finish in the top 4? Or do you think it's absolutely nailed on? Let me know in the comments below. But once again, I just want to commend Aston Villa for their performance. And I couldn't be happier for them. And you know my reasons why. I always want Aston Villa to do well. So fantastic performance from the boys today. Fans can only say positives about the performance. And yeah, they made Man City look terrible. But I would love to know your thoughts. Let us know in the comments below. And before you leave this, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. Up the Villa.